Hello, hi Mo. I already know you, but could I ask you to introduce yourself so other people can get to know you a little bit better?
Sure thing, no worries. My name is Mo. I'm 33 from Canada. I am originally from Palestine, so my parents are from Palestine and Lebanon, and I've been living in Belgium for more than 27 years.
27 years, and you're 33, right?
Correct.
So that's quite some time.
I used to be a refugee for quite a while, yeah.
Could I just then say that Belgium feels for you like home, or this is like rather a big thing to say?
I think that's a big thing to say for a lot of people that are refugees or asylum seekers here. We will never really feel like home, and Brussels, even in some cases, did show this warm welcome feeling. Over time, it showed the opposite, and I don't feel like Belgium is home, but that is just my feeling personally.
But I do understand it, and as well, I think like to say that something is, we can say something and call it, I'm sorry, home. It requires to have certain things.
I think one of the things is like to feel welcome, and I think for a lot of us, I think the fact of feeling welcome is always like it's just never there. It's never met, whether it's with people that we meet every day in the streets, with law enforcement. I assume you've had issues in like getting your papers checked and stuff like that. So it's just these little things that add up to a lot.
Okay, so for you, you would say like if you would like here to feel like at home, that means you would feel welcomed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think Belgium. I think a lot of places have that wrong in Belgium as well. So.
Yeah, I think like the concept of welcoming people is maybe somewhere misunderstood, or it's just like it's lost somewhere in translation, and people take it in a way that they just assume what it is.
Yeah, they take it for granted, as in like people are coming to take their jobs or stuff like that. We're in fear of our lives. A lot of these people come here because they want a better life, or they can't stay where they are at the moment, so they flee to someplace else. It's not a choice. It's a survival instinct. And I feel like if people were more accepting to that, understanding those pains and showing a little bit more empathy, we could go a lot further. And
I think understanding and empathy also, those are very important things to like keep in mind, especially when you're dealing with people who come and they're new and they're in very vulnerable situations. Yeah, cool. But right now we're here because we celebrate the Refugee Week, yes. International Refugee Week. Woo! And I wanted to ask you, why, in your opinion, it is important to cherish, celebrate this kind of day, the event, the week?
I think it's important because of how much the mixity, like the fact that there are people from everywhere that creates this incredible mixing pot, how much benefits it brings to us in terms of cuisine, culture, the fact that you walk in Brussels and not hear the same language is a beauty in itself. There's so many gifts that you get from meeting people from different regions, different areas, and I think that is something we should always cherish and never see that as a curse or a dark stain in Europe or in Belgium in general. So yeah, that's why Refugee Day is important, because of every refugee that brought you math, movies, whatever. There's so much benefits from it. And I think this week at least, it's important to see the benefits, because I think we hear a lot about the negatives. And yeah.
I agree with you. It's a lot of misconception as well around the topic. So I think maybe this kind of week events and everything around it could be a good opportunity for people to maybe understand more how broad of the topic it is.
It's a vast one, and I think just people need to show a little bit of interest. And it's really easy to dive into it and then be super hyped about it. So yeah.
Okay. Are you excited for the rest of the week with the events?
I am. I feel like there's a few more events this week. I'm kind of busy because I work here as a volunteer for URC. But look forward to getting active and being part of those things. So,
okay, and I'm looking forward to see you then on those events.
Thank you so much. Likewise.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have a great day.
As I already introduced myself like a second ago, I am Anna. But could you tell me a little bit more, who are you and why are you here today?
Yes, sure. So I'm Natalie Stanton. I am the communications manager with the International Rescue Committee here in Brussels. So I've been supporting with organising the event today with my colleagues from the IRC and our partners at UNHCR and IKEA. I've been helping out with sort of putting together elements of the exhibition and the structure and promoting it on social media.
Oh, okay. Yes, I heard about the exhibition. I actually wanted to check it out later.
It's really great. I would recommend it.
Oh, yes, 100%. I wanted to ask you, because I also hear it in your accent, you're not from Belgium, right?
No, I'm from the UK.
Okay. So you moved here a long time ago?
I moved here about 6 years ago.
Okay. And how does it feel for you right now to be in here?
To be in Belgium?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. I just became a Belgian citizen about a week or two ago.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So now I feel, very sort of, very Belgian, very like happy to be here.
Would you consider calling Belgium home, or is it like a too big of a statement to maybe say?
I feel like 50-50. I feel like maybe it's possible to have more than one home.
I agree. I actually agree. And also define home. What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the question?
No. It was just maybe open
question.
question to myself. What is home?
Yeah. I feel like it's possible to be in one home and miss another.
I agree. And do you think that Belgium is knows exactly how to maybe show how to make it home for other nationalities?
I feel like it's such a diverse place. You can find people from every corner of the world here, and it's very welcoming. So in a way, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think it can be quite difficult to meet somebody from Belgium,
Of course.
in Brussels.
Yeah. It's not that easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, since we are here because we're celebrating the International Refugee Week, could you tell me why do you think, if you think, but I guess you do think, it is important to celebrate it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are more refugees and displaced people in the world right now than there ever have been before. The figure is sky high, and there are so many conflicts around the world. We're just seeing more and more people being displaced every day. So yeah, I think we really need to look at all of the incredible positives that refugees make to our communities. So I feel like Refugee Week is really a moment to fully embrace that and to sort of shout about it to the world and people who don't necessarily think about these issues every day, like so many of us do. And yeah, I think refugees make our communities so much richer, bring so many amazing skills and talents and diversity and different ways of thinking about things. So yeah, this week is just an opportunity to celebrate that more publicly.
Okay. Do you think that a lot of people should join this kind of event?
I think so, yes. I mean, this event is quite policy focused. So I think for people who are working in this sector, it's really, really interesting. But yeah, the more people that we can sort of educate about these issues, the better. I think so often people who are not necessarily particularly welcoming of refugees, it's because they don't sort of understand, they're not familiar with the topic, and they haven't met too many people who have been displaced before. So yeah, coming along to these kinds of events, I think, is really helpful just to sort of broaden people's minds.
I agree. Maybe to work a little bit with misconception that is around the topic.
Exactly.
That's for sure. Okay. I'm not going to take too much of your time more because I know that you need to go to the panels, but thank you so much for joining our short podcast of 4 minutes.
That's all right. Thank you very much.
And enjoy the whole event today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for having
you.
me.
As a little cliche, but still, to begin with, I would like to ask, could you introduce yourself and tell me who are you? What's your name? What are you doing here?
So my name's Alexandra. I work with UNHCR here in Brussels, and we work mostly on the policy level. So working with the European institutions, trying to advocate for refugees' rights, not only on a national level, but all across the region.
All right. So that's, I would assume, a lot of work, especially these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot on our plate. And of course, now it's a very special time for refugee advocacy because it was World Refugee Day very recently. And this is part, I understand, of all of these series of events that you're doing. And of course, the Umbrella Refugee Committee and all of the different refugee-led committees are doing such vital work. It's really an incredibly inspiring initiative to have refugees leading their own projects and programs here in the heart of Brussels.
I agree. I think the bringing local actors is actually maybe the key to kind of, go around the misconception that it is around the topic. And that's also something that I overheard when I was downstairs listening to some of the discussion panels, like some people mentioned that more awareness should be brought. And that's what I wanted to ask you also. Do you think we have a good idea about awareness around the topic of refugees, or it's like just something that we learned and from there we go on with our own stories?
I think it's a combination. I mean, it's a record number of individuals who have been forcibly displaced globally now. It's over 122 million people worldwide have been forced from their homes. And I think this leads to a series of different issues. You know, it's vital to reaffirm solidarity with people who've been forcibly displaced, stateless people as well. And it's sometimes difficult in the narrative to get those human stories across. And I think that's why these kinds of events and why World Refugee Day is such an important moment to really highlight the personal stories. So downstairs now there's an event with the IKEA Foundation where they're talking about employability and how to involve refugees and newcomers into the labor market as early as possible. And we really saw from downstairs that employers want to hire individuals, that skills are transferable across borders. And I think opportunities like this are so important to really show that a narrative shift is still possible despite
That's for sure. That's for sure. But what do you think is the biggest challenge right now as you see or as you feel yourself?
Well, I mean, in many cases, I think there are very few resources and many barriers that refugees, asylum seekers, and stateless people face. It can come from discrimination on a gender basis. It can be LGBTQI issues. It can be just lack of the papers that are necessary to get your certificates from abroad, to have your skills recognized and your qualifications recognized in the European labor market. I think there are multiple different challenges that, if we're talking specifically about labor market integration, but also social integration, but there are also so many positive examples of how people have overcome these challenges and how with the private sector as well, there have been real opportunities for learning and growth. And it's a win-win situation. Employers want the skills. We have a labor market shortage of skills in Europe. And refugees and forcibly displaced have those skills. It's about giving them the opportunity to bring it to the table.
Yes, I agree. And as well, I think for employees as well, like probably the rest of the society, what is maybe very important, especially for people who come and they're new in the country, maybe to kind of give them the idea of home. Maybe I also overheard the word value. Do you think we understand others people's values, or it's something that again we just talk about from our perspectives? And maybe events like this should be organized more for us to kind of get on the same page with what is home for every single person.
No, I think that's a great point, because what is home? Home can be so many different things to different people. It can be the importance of having your family around you. And of course, the right to family unity in the European Union is something we continue to advocate for a lot of forcibly displaced that find themselves here. Or the right to just live a dignified life. And the values, I think, are very similar when you get down to the basic human core principles. I think
agree.
there is so much that we share. And it's about highlighting this more than ever. And of course, it's not only in Europe that we have a lot of newcomers, refugees, asylum seekers. The majority of forcibly displaced are hosted outside Europe, in the developing world. And it's important to recognize that despite the impression that there might be so many barriers that it's unable to overcome them, I think there are many examples where that's not the case. And values are shared in that way.
Yeah, that's true. Values are shared. And as well, I think every single person, that's what also came across my mind when I was listening to everything. You know the saying when people say, just feel yourself at home, right? That means what? Just be relaxed, right? So I think maybe if we would all be in a way as we would be at home, maybe that would be easier for all of us.
I think a really great word to explain this is the idea of solidarity.
Yeah.
And really sharing a kind of a relational element of it. And every little thing counts, I think more than ever we need to stand with refugees. And, governments, the private sector, civil society, individuals, your neighbors, your friends, everyone can show this kind of solidarity. And I think maybe that will help all of us feel more at home in our incredibly diverse and inspiring communities.
I agree. Okay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm not going to take any more of you because it's already a late evening, but thanks again for joining the podcast.
Thank
I
you
wish
for
you a
having
good
me.
evening.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you. To maybe begin with, let's start from a very good first question, which is, could you tell me your name and introduce, what are you doing here?
Absolutely. So my name is Edgar. I come from Venezuela. I live in Belgium since 2018. and today we are here for the event regarding the refugee topic.
Exactly. And how do you find this event?
Very good, interesting. Of course, it's a topic which interests me a lot, but especially because we can give some visibility to the reality and change a bit the narrative.
You mentioned that you came to Belgium, but when was it?
In 2018.
2018. That's quite some time ago.
7 years ago.
7
indeed.
years ago. Wow, the time flies.
Very much, yes.
And
Too much.
Too much.
Yes.
I agree. But we're not going to talk about this.
No, I will feel old.
But tell me, like, do you feel like on a timeline of those 7 years,
Yes.
right? Do you feel like a lot of change in terms of the hostility around the refugee topic, or you think it's still a very hard topic to kind of?
To be honest, I will talk for myself. I've never had like a hard experience, but from the people I know it's a topic. It's still quite alive. Maybe in a more discreet way, more light, but for sure it's still quite alive.
Okay.
Indeed, yeah, we have a lot of demographic change, political change in the world, so it's.
That's
not
what I
going-
was also thinking, because like what was working yesterday won't work tomorrow in a way. Like it changes rapidly and
Indeed.
with like a tempo that we cannot really follow up to. But so if it's hard for us to kind of catch up sometimes even on news,
Yes,
especially these
indeed.
days, I cannot imagine even how it is if you are, let's say, employee, because today was about mainly employee.
Yes, indeed.
And I think the policymakers, those people, they should be informed even more, and they should tailor their approaches. Do you feel like there's space for that?
I think yes, especially we have to create the space and, to be honest, also the hope, because like you said, policymakers, legislation, but also from each person we have a role to play in that change of narrative, giving examples like you said before. But yeah, I think the space is there. We just have to create and for sure push a little bit to make it more impactful, visible also, and to create the awareness among the population.
And if you would say that there's a space, but there's still like it lacks something, what would you name that is like the biggest challenge? And for you.
Yeah. I would say, to be honest, is to change the narrative and to create the awareness from people to understand what it means. And like you said, the big changes are coming so fast. Today is us. Tomorrow we don't know who will be. And so to create that awareness and to be conscious about it.
So would you say there's a lot of misconception?
Absolutely. That's the big challenge we have. The misconception, misinformation, and how the wrong perception of the refugee people.
Then maybe would you think that there's enough local actors involved in policy makings if there's so much misconception?
I think yes, for sure. We have a lot of potential because we have a lot of NGOs, this kind of project that can give more visibility, etc. But yeah, we do have a lot of work to do still. Yeah.
But do you think the misconception is, let's say, created because people have different understanding of the actual need, or what is causing that? That's something I'm trying to understand lately.
It's a super good question, to be honest. And I think the misunderstanding, that wrong perception, is lack of information, lack of connection, and sometimes also the wrong medias and how the information is oriented and targeted for some topics at specific moments. So I think that's where it's come from. And also to lose the connection to the reality, because if you want to know about a refugee from one country or another, you have to go to that person and to try to understand the real need, the real problem, and not just hearing and repeating without really knowing.
But that's true, because even when you mentioned that, like it's about having the information, right? But in a way, we live in a society in life when information is basically it's one reach to our pocket. Yet I feel like it's not like always passed in a way it should be. And as well, like that game when somebody tells you one word and you repeat it to the person. And I
telephone,
feel like that one. And maybe this is also something that is happening. People are repeating something, and every person that will be like a filter to it will create their own version of it.
And I think that's a big issue and the big problem, because indeed people are just repeating what they heard, what they maybe see, like you said, because we have an easy access to information, but not always the right one and not the right information also. So that's what I'm seeing, that yes, you can read a lot of things, you can see, you can hear, but it's always good to check with the people. You want to know about the Ukrainian people, go to the Ukrainian people. To the Venezuela people, you go to the Venezuela people, because you have to understand the reality. At the end of the day, each person is different. So you cannot labelize and just put one label for everyone. Voila, this is a package. No. And that's the really big issue that we have, that many people have a lot of access to the information, but how to filter it? And what do you do with that information?
It is a bit treated, right? The topic in general, like an elephant in the room, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kind of walked around all the time. And as it was mentioned even downstairs during the discussion panel, it should be equal.
Yes.
And I think this is a very important word that I find like people miss, like whenever I talk to somebody and they say, oh, but but no, but this, but that, but financial, but economic. And then maybe actually the equality is something we need to kind of direct ourselves to.
Yes. And it's very funny that you mentioned that, because indeed when we talk about equality and equity, I saw a meme, a picture, I don't know if you have seen it. It's like a fence and you have 3 persons. Okay. And when we talk about equality, and they put like one box for everyone to stand, because from the other side of the fence there is a baseball match or a soccer match, I don't know, I don't remember. And so, but of course the people are from different size. And so when you put the bigger one in the box, he's much taller. The small one in the one box, he still cannot see the other side of the fence. And when you talk about equity, and that's the different concept, you will give the same opportunity to everyone to see the match, or to see the other side of the fence. And then you have the taller guy without the box, and the smaller one, not with one box, but with 2. And indeed, I think it's a concept, it's quite interesting to have the difference between equality, equity, and the same opportunities for everyone. It's not about favoritism, because it's not what we are looking for. It's not about charity. No, it's just the equal opportunity for everyone.
I agree. I fully agree with that. And I also think, would you say that it should be more of events like this, of weeks like this, or maybe it should be more than a week?
More than a week, because I think like many other big issues and topics around the world, it should be a daily job, a daily base thing going on, but also other ways. Those kind of event, your podcast, etc. Those many ways to communicate.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. Thank you so much for all your answers.
And thank you for the invitation.